Whoa, stay. All right, okay, stay with me here. There'll be more AMVs later, probably. So, since my latest video did so well and brought in a lot of new subscribers who aren't part of my usual crowd, I thought I'd make this video going over what I love about Mech Fight, the 2D fighting game I built my whole channel off. The community for this game's been in a pretty good spot lately, so if this video ends up selling you on it, you'll have plenty of people to play against, either casually or competitive. As for the AMVs, like my last two videos, there will be more of those too, but I'm not sure when. There's a certain fight we'll likely get near the end of JJK Season 3 that I've been looking forward to for a long time, so I'll be doing one for that once it's out, but aside from that, they'll be whenever inspiration strikes me. Anyway, JMF. So, Mech Fight is a fighting game released for the NES in 1993, and I'd argue possibly the first genuinely great game in its genre. It features a huge roster of 36 characters to choose from, a fighting game world record for its time. I think it is, anyway. Nearly all of whom play completely differently to each other, ensuring that you'll always have a good few available to you who suit your playstyle. If you want a fast, active character, you have Legend, Tiger, and I, just to name a few. By contrast, if you want something slower and more defensive, Shenlong, Giganto, and Ashura might be more your speed. You want lots of projectiles, Neo has you covered, unless you want something faster, in which case you might enjoy Scapacon or Super Zack more. Ra has a good mix of range and pressure, Ney has some really cool trap setups with his Atom, Blaze is generally quite solid at everything. I could go on. The best part, though, is that everyone I just listed off is completely viable for use in tournaments, even at the highest level. JMF being a fairly niche, obscure 90s fighting game made in just 2 weeks for a system that was already outdated by the time it came out, it's not a particularly balanced experience, admittedly. Plenty of characters like Zack, Old, Bok, Jibber, and Scapon can't really do much of anything against a remotely serious player, and Skater is... He's literally so bad that he has no meaningful way of damaging a blocking opponent. He might, without any exaggeration, be one of the worst characters ever created in a fighting game. Honestly, even if you don't exclude characters who are deliberately meant to be bad, he might fit that title still, but especially out of characters who are, in theory, meant to be able to do something, he is the worst. He's horrendous. It's so funny. Anyway, aside from that, Ho and Leo are both so absurdly powerful that they've been outright banned in competitive play. That said, for its time, it's honestly shocking how much variety there is in the types of characters you're likely to see in tournaments. As I said, it's entirely possible to succeed with everyone I listed when I was talking about characters' playstyles. But them aside, I'd say Gaian, Y, Grak, Garborg, Dachshund, and Gel are all characters you're some degree of likely to maybe run into during a tournament. Additionally, many other characters such as Ghoston, Sasku, John, Geo, Star, and I'd argue maybe even Hover and Senju exist in this weird middle ground where they're not thought of as particularly strong, but nobody's ever really pushed them to say what they can do. The tier list isn't set in stone by any means. If you're dedicated, you could very well end up proving one of these characters' worth in a way no one has ever seen before. Additionally, it's a pretty simple and easy game to get into without being too brain-dead boring. The game uses two buttons for attacks, A and B, and inputs for special moves are generally fairly simple. It's like hold down and press A to do a projectile, that kind of thing. There's not a whole lot in terms of system mechanics either. Aside from the somewhat unique 3-life structure here where you regain a bit of health every time an opponent loses life, the game doesn't really do anything you wouldn't expect from a fighting game, leaving the competitive depth solely to the characters. Oh, actually, there is one other thing it does. If you take a certain amount of damage within a short span of time, your character will be stunned, allowing your opponent to just keep piling on even more damage. The precise amount it takes for this to happen is determined by your character's stun value. The higher it is, the less likely you are to be stunned. Here's a chart of every character's stun value. Anyway, JMF is somehow still one of the only fighting games I've ever played that gets this type of simpler design right. Far too often, fighting games made to be beginner-friendly make the mistake of either making everything too slow or making all the characters far too samey. JMF does neither, pleasingly. Gameplay is consistently frantic and fast-paced, especially at a high level, and no two characters ever really feel the exact same to play as. So even kind of the page 4s. Oh, actually, to explain what I mean by that, JMF's character select screen is divided up into 5 pages, each except page 5 having 8 characters, with page 5 having 4. You start with just page 1 unlocked, then get pages 2, 3, and 4 by beating single player on normal difficulty, and then get the last page by doing it again on special difficulty. Alternatively, playing online once unlocks everyone immediately, but more on that later. Anyway, page 4 is a bit of a weird one, because on the surface they look like just outright better versions of the page 1 cast. Lots of new players get tripped up by this misunderstanding. In reality, page 1s are actually kind of worth picking sometimes, as some of them offer unique differences in playstyle compared to their page 4 counterparts. Here's a quick overview. Neo's projectile has greater block stun and pushback on block than Nei's, leading to a more defensive playstyle, while Nei's generally greater damage output and faster movement speed makes him a more aggressive character. Likewise, Sasuke is a fairly slow character with a lot of solid defensive options and combo routes, while Hanzor trades those things for more single hit damage and way faster movement. Senju is generally worse than Ashura in every conceivable way, but he does have access to this air drill move Ashura lacks, which makes him feel really unique to play as. Ai has a parry special, and his copter special leaves the opponent much closer on hit, leading to more options for a follow-up, which Y trades for higher damage, a few throw loops, and this somewhat niche but occasionally useful anti-air. If any of what I've said has grabbed your interest, the pinned comment below will have a link to the game's Discord server if you'd like to talk to other players, easily find matches, and join tournaments, as well as a link to my video about how to set up online play. Trust me, it's super easy. Should only take you a few minutes. I absolutely love this game, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I do.